Alright, Metalhead Weatherman, I hope you guys have had a good Wednesday. We're halfway through the week now. Know it's hot, but we just got a couple more days till the weekend. Trying to make it sound better, even though it's really not, especially for me. Anyway, got a bit to talk about today. Originally, I've been trying to keep these videos short, and I'm gonna try to keep this one short as well. We're gonna jump right into it because we got more severe weather to cover today. We have ongoing severe weather, and then a new slight risk area for tomorrow, which we'll go into in a minute. We'll go over the main threats momentarily, and then we're also going to go over the tropics too, and take a little bit of a brief look into what might be ahead. Alright, so we're going to start out with Wednesday here. We have ongoing severe weather in our region. We talked about this area a lot more last night, so I'm going to kind of be brief. But basically, pretty much from Richmond, Virginia, all the way up through just to the west of Binghamton, and as far east as maybe just outside of Louisville, off to the east, even Cincinnati and Columbus. We have a slight risk for severe storms. Main threat is damaging winds and hail. Can't rule out a tornado, especially towards the New York, Pennsylvania, and just west of the Delmarva region. We have a slight tornado threat, and then we also have this marginal tornado threat that's around Kansas tonight. Threat's minimal. It's a marginal risk, but it's nothing amazing. When we look at the wind threat, of course, that's the main topic. It's already formed up into an MCS, and then we have a marginal hail threat in both areas. We'll go ahead and go back actually and take a look at the severe thunderstorm watches that were issued. It looks like it's still 2 watches. I've been trying to keep track of this earlier through the day, but between work and I also went to the gym today. Yeah, so it got kind of hard to keep track of it all. But here's our line of storms here. We have severe thunderstorm watches going all the way through Pennsylvania, into Virginia, into Kentucky, Ohio, maybe even a tiny little piece of Indiana. And then we also have this right on the Kentucky-Tennessee border. I have to watch you guys for some storms tonight. Look at the warnings right now. We have a handful of them. Excuse me, got a lot of phlegm in my throat today. Feels like that almost every day. But for right now, it's just all severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings or watches of any kind right now, which is great. A couple of flash flood warnings towards the western parts of Pennsylvania. We'll have to watch you guys but we'll have to watch Virginia as we push on to the next couple of hours. Let's go over tomorrow's threat, because now we have 4 areas of interest. We have 3 marginal risk regions. We have one towards the northern plains, towards Minnesota and the Dakotas, and we also have parts of Wisconsin in play for that. Then we have a region around Montana that could be expecting some severe weather, and there could be some storms popping up in Utah and Nevada. Interesting little setup here, little something out of left field. Tornado threat will mainly be towards Nebraska and Kansas tomorrow afternoon. It's very minimal, not 0. Then of course all of our regions are in line for a wind threat. Hail threat's going to be greatest at our slight risk, and it's the same with the hail. So we're going to go ahead and get a look at the timing here for this weather system, and we'll go ahead and take a look at one other parameter, and we're going to go right into the tropics. So right about now, so this is maybe a couple hours behind starting out. I think this is where we are right now. Here's our MCS. I don't really see the NAM picking up on this going to the south, because that's actually what we have going on. It's not moving to the east. Okay, there it goes. And these storms are going to last into the late evening, but they're going to lose steam into the overnight. And then, of course, I mentioned this in the last couple of videos, but this storm right here, this little low pressure right here, is actually got a lot of potential to become our next invest, maybe even our next name system. It's going to meander off the coast here and really start to organize late into the week and into the weekend, and may even cause a little bit of disturbed weather around Nova Scotia. Although this recent model run has the pressures a little bit higher than the last few, it still looks organized, but I don't know if it will become a name storm. It'll be hard to say right now. Got a little carried away while looking at that, so we're just waiting on the NAM to unfreeze here. Really nice if it would do it today. Jeez. Okay. Dang. Yeah, my whole entire computer's frozen. And I just updated the thing too. That's the funniest part about all this. Wow. Okay, there we go. I think. Let's not hold our breath here. Okay. Nope, it's frozen. Crap. Oh, all right, we're back. I was about to have to restart this video, but anyway, let's roll forward here. We're gonna skip straight to the early afternoon, and here is our storm system that's expected to cause some severe weather. See a few scattered storms. Coverage isn't very impressive, and then in our marginal risk areas, it's pretty much the same story. For the most part, these will have a wind and hail threat. There is some parameters for tornadic activity, but like I said, very minimal. Here's some storms towards South Dakota once we get into the late evening and pushing towards the overnight hours. But by the time we get into the overnight, a lot of these storms are going to be dying out. We also may have to watch Friday real close because there is a marginal risk, and we may go into that tomorrow if it goes up to a slight risk. If not, we might just leave it alone. And this looks like it could be it right up here in the northern plains. I think we had mentioned this once before earlier in the week. We'll touch up on it again tomorrow because I could see this very easily being upgraded. A lot of things have been upgraded this year. A lot of last minute upgrades have come from the National Weather Service this year, so it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Slightest. See what I did there? My lame little pun. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the Mixler Cape. I like using the Mixler Cape more for damaging wind threats because we're basically looking for all that energy to mix to the surface, and this is especially good for kind of weeding out those storms that have, or regions that have that potential to really get big storms to bring that downdraft to Earth. Because in a normal situation, those downdrafts are elevated a few thousand feet above our heads. Anyway, move this forward here. We're starting to lose some of our capes, so these storms will be losing their juice in this, losing a lot of juice in this region. And then you can almost see it kind of hooking around and making its way to the Central Plains once more. And then by early afternoon, look at the values start to really spike, especially once we get into the evening hours here. Say about 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when these capes will really be up high. About really 6 o'clock, that's when I think they'll be at their max. We have some regions that are hitting about 3,000-4,000 joules up in the northern plains even, and then of course in our slight risk area, we're hitting the 2,000-3,000 joules per kilogram. But once we get towards the late evening and overnight hours, we start to lose that cape. So all our fuel for these storms starts to fade. Then on Friday, we have to watch the southeast. And once again, our capes have boosted back up in the northern plains, which is correlating with that line of storms that we were seeing on the reflectivity model. Move this along, and then by early Saturday morning, we lose our juice again. But we'll probably be expecting another round a little bit further to the east. All right, now let's go to the tropics. I've been saying for a little while that I was going to do a tropical update. I'm trying to do better with that, but there's been a lot of unexpected changes with severe weather, so I do apologize. Just thought I'd get that out there real quick. But here we are right now. Things looking relatively calm over the Caribbean, and we're going to cover the tropical Atlantic as well in this video too. We're going to be pretty thorough today. So right now, things are pretty quiet, but there are signs that the Caribbean may be coming to life a little bit later on. We're about 3 days out right now. Nothing really popping up here at the moment, but I do see this little interesting feature that works its way into the Bahamas early in the early start of starting early next week around Monday. It's hard to say whether or not this hasn't even formed yet, so it's hearsay as to whether or not this actually even does anything. Not to mention the fact that this is on the operational model. I kind of prefer the ensembles, but the ensemble is not updated and they take so long to do that. But this storm system, if it does form, it goes to the Bahamas and and it looks like it may make a beeline for eastern Florida, and then quickly dissipates. I would almost say that there's a slim chance it will work its way back into the Gulf, but I don't think it would be strong enough to survive that trek. But that's really the only thing we have. We may watch up against the western parts of Central America for potential development once again, especially towards the latter half of it's actually going to be right towards American Independence Day. Mexico obviously does not celebrate that, but you guys might need to watch the coast to see which direction this is moving, and it looks like we are frozen yet again. Good grief. This thing's about as frozen as the phlegm in my throat. Wait, maybe it's working now? Nope. Jeez. If anyone wants to help me out by getting a new computer, even if it's used, feel free and let me know in the comments, because this is getting rough. This storm here in the eastern Atlantic here towards the end of this model run looks pretty stout, actually, I would say as well. Oh, come on. Dang. Yeah, my entire computer's frozen again. This is crazy. How does this keep happening? I've literally closed out everything except for Chrome. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Ah, jeez. I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna make the video run a lot longer than what it should. I'm so close to the end now. It's almost like I don't want to stop. Good grief. I may have to restart the rate I'm going. I don't know, we're only at 13 minutes, we're okay. Alright, let's just get towards the end of this model run. Hopefully. Maybe I can actually... Alright, this looks like it becomes a fish storm. It gets quickly kicked off to the sea without making landfall in Mexico, which is great news. And then towards the end of the model run here, we see a small development region trying to pop up around the right around the Bahamas and towards Hispaniola once again. With it being this far out though, that's pretty much hearsay, so it's kind of hard to really latch on to that. We'll just have to keep watching it and see what happens, because we're almost talking about almost 3 weeks from now. We're looking out that far ahead, which is pretty crazy. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the Western Atlantic. I know, here's hoping that GFS does not freeze on us again. I'm going to try to exit out of some of this stuff and make it easy. See if my computer will actually operate a little bit. It's just crazy how I just updated this thing and it just wants to act out the way it does. Seems like the updates honestly make it worse. So this is the main development region of the tropics, and this is where a lot of our strongest hurricanes tend to come from. Is this region right here? It comes off from Africa, which we don't see on the map here, obviously. As time goes on, these storms will start forming a little bit further and further away from the U.S., and they'll have to be watched a lot closer because they'll have more time over these warmer water and lighter wind shear, and then we'll have to watch the track. And we'll go into the details of that in just a minute. But as of right now, I do see something forming here, possibly. But this looks like it's going to be a fish storm because you can almost see how it's being steered away from the U.S. and Bermuda. Then there's this little thing right here. I don't really think that this is going to... either of these have a great chance of forming in anything. Maybe the one on the right here does. But it doesn't really condense and give me a good indicator of something forming. Now here's our little area of interest that we were looking at maybe hitting eastern Florida within the next week. Yep, that's it right there. Then this looks like it's going to be a fish storm. If it even forms up, it's not gonna live long because that's a very hostile environment for hurricanes. Not very conducive for tropical development at all. Excuse me, I hate this. So now we're looking at the Western Atlantic being quiet. Maybe one storm pops up here, but again, it's pretty much going to be the same deal, where these form up and then they die out real quick. Hurricane Center may not even bat an eye at these things. Oh, hold on a minute. Look at that. Look at this little area right here that's popped up. Alright. Look at this little area here that's popped up. It's around Dominican Republic and Haiti. And this tries to work its way towards the Bahamas once again, and right towards the end of our model run. There it is, lingering right there. Maybe another potential system working its way towards Florida. It's not very impressive looking, but this far out, it's hearsay as to what it may or may not do, considering the fact that it even forms. So that just goes to show that tropics may be waking up here in a minute. So if you're in a potential hurricane evacuation route, or just an area that's susceptible to storm surge or anything of that variety, maybe start getting supplies, because this is supposed to be a very active season. I'm not trying to scare anyone, but it's best to be prepared for any outcome. So now we're gonna go over to the and that ensemble still hasn't loaded. So we are going over to the ensemble model on tropical tidbits, but it's not going to be to actually show any sort of potential storms. What I want to show you is this steering current right here. This steering current is key to a lot of the storm tracks that we're going to end up getting, and it's usually associated with this ridge here. I wish I could scroll a little further north so you get a better view of it. But you see this little red area right here and these lines around it. These are the trade winds that are going to be around this little blocking high, right? So this blocking high, the winds around it are spinning clockwise. So basically like how I'm moving my cursor right now. So what we're doing right now is, you can even see it spinning as I'm moving this map forward. And you saw how that, and if you go back, if you actually look closely, you'll see this little storm system right here get caught up in this ridge right here, and it gets flung off to the out to sea. Now the interesting thing is, this blocking high is going to be moving, and on the southern end of this here, wind shear is going to be a lot lighter, and the temperatures are going to start warming around this region. And this is the expected pattern that we are going to be falling into as we push later into the summer. And then actually, this is interesting. I see something trying to pop up on the western, in the western portion of Africa here. Now, I don't really look at this area too much as of yet because there's still a lot of Saharan dust and just dry air around this region. And of course, there's still some wind shear, but this ridge is starting to weaken a little bit. So we might be trending towards maybe a couple of storms starting to pop up around here. So right around Cape Verde, we'll have to be really watchful in the coming weeks. Especially once we get towards mid-July and into August, because that's when business tends to pick up. But you can kind of see the potential beginnings of a little system trying to work its way off the coast. I'll have to watch that really closely, along with pretty much the entire Bahamas and Hispaniola, Cuba, and of course the Gulf of Mexico. We're always going to have to watch that. But plenty of stuff going on here in the weather world. Happy to go over all of it with you guys. Ran this video a little long, partially because my computer is pretty rough right now, in pretty rough shape. Hopefully we can get this resolved at some point. But this is all I got for you guys tonight. If you like what I did here in this video, drop a like, leave a comment. Anyone on here that has been watching but hasn't been subscribing, it's free to do so. I don't bite, and I put out content practically every day, so there's nothing for you to lose there, other than maybe watching occasional fails like today. But I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good one.